ZOOZers! I'm Chris.
And I'm Drew.
And today we're going to assemble the Ultra Flex. But first, some important information.
Disclaimer.
This video is intended to demonstrate the assembly procedure of the Ultra Flex. But understand that you are assembling a bike that requires proper assembly in order to operate safely. Furthermore, improper assembly and/or damage caused during assembly or improper maintenance is not covered by the warranty. As a general rule, we say that if you can change the oil in your car, you can definitely handle this assembly. If you are unsure about how to assemble this bike, this is not something you want to guess. Take it to a bike shop. They will be very capable of assembling this bike properly and securely for your first ride. Cut the straps and remove these pieces of plastic to unlock the outer box. Scan this barcode before you take it off. This will give you access to the post-purchase portal where you can register your warranty and find all types of helpful resources from maintenance information to community access. Let's slide this outer box off of the bike. If you've seen some of our previous unboxing, you'll notice that we've gone through a bit of a box design evolution, and the front wheel is already installed on the bike, making assembly a breeze. To assemble the Ultra Flex, you only need a 6mm and 4mm hex, as well as a 15mm wrench. This is called a pedal wrench, and it's thin on this side so it can fit between the pedals and the crank arms. You will need a couple of other tools for adjustment and maintenance, and I've assembled a few different varieties in similar sizes. It's my personal preference when working on various facets of the bike. You'll probably find what you like as well. First, locate the charger, pedals, fenders, optional rear shocks. Be sure you find them and set them aside. Remove all of the protective packaging materials and cut all the red zip ties you see. Be very careful during this step so you don't hurt yourself or the bike. Be careful when removing the handlebars. They're zip tied to the bike and we'll install those now. Unbolt the headlight stem cap and place the handlebars in the stem, resting the bars on the seat. Make sure that there isn't any twisting or kinking of the cables. They should be routed with a gentle bend. Reset the stem cap in place with the headlight unit and the wire exiting through this channel here. Use some of the silicone assembly lube on the stem bolts and lightly tighten them, making sure there's an equal gap on the stem clamp. Don't tighten too hard so that you can rotate the bars up into position. We recommend a handlebar angle like this. Anything too aggressively forward or backward will affect the handling of the bike. Then tighten the stem bolts to 20 Nm in a crisscross pattern, making sure the gap on the top and the bottom are even. You can use one of these zip ties from the little baggie to make sure that your wires are nice and tidy. Next, we are going to position and tighten the levers. They should be at a position that feels natural, and they tighten here with a 4mm hex. Both the throttle and display should be adjusted to your preferred position and tightened with a 3mm hex. Next, we're going to install the pedals. Each pedal has a marking for right and left side of the bike. Each pedal has threads that are specific to each side, and when installing, we'll always rotate towards the front of the bike. Clockwise on the right side, counterclockwise on the left side. Use some of the silicone assembly lube on the pedals. This wrench is called a pedal wrench, and it's thin so it can fit between the crank arm and the pedal. Some regular wrenches, but not all, might be too thick and could scratch the crank arm and not effectively tighten the pedal. It's critical that the pedal is sufficiently tight, otherwise you could damage the threads by putting weight on pedals that aren't tight. Next, we're going to inflate the tires to the right pressure. A lower pressure can provide more comfort and more grip on some surfaces, but a higher pressure rolls faster and protects against hard impacts. We recommend something between 30 and 35 psi. This will be personal preference. Next, we'll install the fenders. The front fender is mounted using 2 small bolts under the down tube. Place the fender aligned with the mounting holes and replace the bolts. These should be hand tight. The rear fender is mounted with 2 small bolts under the crossbar and 1 down here at the end of the down tube. Same procedure, hand tight. The battery will be installed on the bike when you receive it, but it can be removed from the bike for charging, storage, or transportation. To remove the battery, you'll insert the key, rotate and hold the key in this position while you hold the battery tightly from above the bike. Give a sharp push forward and the battery will release. To install the battery, we're going to turn the bike upside down to show you what's going on. The battery has a redesigned mounting system that makes installation easier and more secure. These mounting tabs interface with the mounting plate, and this locking pin automatically engages when the battery is properly loaded on. Insert the battery between the frame rails and feel the tabs find their place on the mounting plate. You will hear the locking pin engage when it's properly secured. Give a sharp push towards the back of the bike to lock the battery in place. You must be sure that the battery is fully locked in position before taking a ride. Pulling forward on the battery is the best way to check this. It's very important for the health of the battery that it's fully charged before you take your first ride. The charging port is located here. The light on the charger will be red when charging and green when fully charged. These bikes see greater forces because of their speed, and just like any other bike, you want to make sure that everything is secure. Routinely checking bolt torques, brakes, tires, and chain is the rider's responsibility to ensure a safe ride. We have videos on our YouTube channel that address rear wheel removal and brake adjustment, but right now we'll go over all of the bolt torques for the Ultra Flex. Rear axle nuts, 60 Newton meters. Front axle nuts, 25 Newton meters. Stem bolts, fork bolts, 20 Newton meters. Rear shock mount bolts, 25 Newton meters. Crank arm bolts, 10 Newton meters. Since the Ultra Flex comes with suspension, let's talk about suspension adjustment.
Suspension?
Suspension! The Ultra Flex is designed to have performance on-road and on hard-packed surfaces. To achieve this, the suspension is on the stiffer side for optimized braking and turning, but still absorbing bumps and totally handling big hits. Despite the suspension settings that come stock, you can adjust the suspension characteristics for your preferred ride. Any bike shop should be able to help you with this process. Again, adjusting suspension is optional and per rider preference, but out of the box, the bike is ready to ride at its current setting. The Ultra Flex also has an available racking system for the front and rear.
Racks.
The front is installed at these 4 bolts, 2 on the down tube and 2 on the head tube. Remove the model plate from the head tube when using the front rack. Fun fact, this little model plate becomes a cool keychain fob for your battery key. The rear rack is mounted at 3 locations using the rear seat mount under here and the top of each shock mount. It is critical that you use the hardware included in the rack kit. I think that's it. Oh, forgot to turn on the light, just like this.
Can I ride it now? That's it?
That's it. Okay. You say, that's it?
That's it, man.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay.
Ready? He'll do that's it.
So, but the thing is, we want the bike already assembled, not the box.
Right.